Hello, this is Cotton Stoops, and today's Doodle World HTC video is on Junipyro. Junipyro is one of the first ever seasonal doodles and it's quite pretty good, so why not talk about it? In today's video, we're going to be talking about Junipyro. From the counters and checks and teammates you'll need to know in order to know how to use Junipyro in the battle, as well as the sets and rules you'll need to know for any Junipyro, and the defensive typing which will help you get a backbone for all those knowledge. Today's video is all about how to use and counter Junipyro. Junipyro's role is an essential question to ask, and we can answer this question with its base stats. Its base stats are really simple here, as its magical defense of 65 is pretty low. While it isn't as low as some other offensive doodles, this does show how Junipyro's weaknesses are just base stat wise. It also has a low attack stat, so while it is on the mediocre side, I still wouldn't use it. And it has a decent defense stat of 75. However, it is pretty good once you pair it with its HP, which I'll be talking about a bit later. And its speed stat of 85 allows it to outspeed a little bit of the more offensive doodles, but it will still get undersped by most of the cleaners and sweepers in the Doodle World metagame. However, your HP stat of 85 and magical attack of 90 is where your strongest stats lie, as this HP stat does let you go mixed defensive kind of, which is pretty good. And your magical attack of 90, while isn't as high as some other doodles, this is on par with one of the stronger doodles in the game, or just for defensive doodles in general. So what role does Junipyro play? It is a versatile doodle. It can hit hard, it can also tank hard, and it does have the speed to outspeed a lot of doodles. And it is decently fast and strong, like I said, and it does have the potential for setup and defensive potential with its defenses. So with that out of the way, let's talk about Junipyro's defensive typing. Junipyro's defensive typing of fire and plant has 3 weaknesses to air, ice, and poison. This is not a lot, but your 4 times ice weakness is something to take note of, and air types and poison types are a lot more common than what you would think. 5 resistances though are to plant, spark, beast, light, and metal. This is pretty good because for plant types, you already generally wall most of them, or at least check them at the very least, which is pretty good for you. Spark types and light types are also pretty nice as well here, and beast and metal types, they're also good to resist. So with that out of the way, let's talk about Junipyro's set. So the set provided here will be from TFK, and this will be a fast scapegoat set. This will utilize your speed to set up scapegoats, which is pretty essential. Your ability will be guilt here, as this will lower the opponent's attack stat when they hit you, so that's obviously pretty nice. And your boosts will be into the health stat mainly, and the secondaries can be the speed or defense stat. This set will utilize the speed boosts, but if you want to run a more defensive set, which is perfectly understandable, then go ahead. And Vine Grasp and Forest Fire will be your main 2 moves, as these do pretty good damage, or not Forest Fire, Vine Grasp, and Incinerate. Forest Fire here is actually a pretty good move here, because this will allow you to do double the damage to plant types, which you kind of already have a dominating matchup against, but this is still pretty good. And Scapegoat will allow you to set up more health in front of you, or just a dummy in front of you, which will help you do a lot more better against other matchups that you do not want to have a super effective move hit on you. And your item of choice will be the Use crayons, because Junipyro doesn't have recovery as far as I know. And the boosts will be into the HP and speed stat. Just ignore that typo of the attack stat. Your equipment of choice will be the bowl cut to boost defenses, Sapphire Amulet to of course boost your stats you want to, and the pizza slices also boosting your defenses. So with that out of the way, let's talk about Junipyro's offensive counters and checks, as well as its teammates. So I'm going to be lumping the offensive and defensive counters and checks because mostly fire types like Incidentalisk, Tough Plays, Garlic, and Sumo will be great here as well because they are fire types, and just generally they resist both of Junipyro's coverage, which is very nice. And you also have the ice types here like Polargeist and Kidera and Cryoterra and Koryu, because while they do get hit considerably hard, or whatever your definition of hard is, they hit Junipyro 4 times super per effective, which is always not the best case. And offensive teammates will mainly compose of doodles like Rotera, Zaporera, Mothra, and Henchum, because they have pretty good matchups against the stuff that Junipyro is weak to, so this is also pretty good. And as well as Seamstress, and the defensive teammates for Junipyro is also the same kind of lesson here. We just want to run doodles like Jello Puppy, the defensive set, and Malzuri, because they do a pretty good job at resisting the stuff that Junipyro is weak to, and especially good against the matchups. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the conclusion and my thoughts on Junipyro. Hello, this is Cotton Stoops, and today's Doodle World HTC video is on Junipyro. Junipyro is one of the first ever seasonal doodles and is quite pretty good, so why not talk about it? In today's video, we're going to be talking about Junipyro. From the counters and checks and teammates you'll need to know in order to know how to use Junipyro in the battle, as well as the sets and roles you'll need to know for any Junipyro, and the defensive typing which will help you get a backbone for all of those knowledge. Today's video is all about how to use and counter Junipyro.